Welcome to Chalk Talk, a weekly preview of West Tennessee football featuring the Jackson Sun sports team here on JacksonSun.com.
Hey everybody, welcome into another edition of the college edition or college version of Chalk Talk here on JacksonSun.com. I'm Sun Sports Editor Brandon Shields. He is our local college sports writer Craig Thomas, and we're breaking down this week's local college football games here in West Tennessee. And I guess we'll start with the one team who's playing at home on Saturday, Bethel. They are playing at, is it a 1:30 kickoff against Cumberland?
It'd be 2:30. 2:30 game. It'll be a senior day, so they'll do some senior type stuff at 2 o'clock, and then the game will actually start at 2:30. Playing a Cumberland team that's had a pretty decent year, has had beaten a couple of ranked teams like University of the Cumberlands. Cumberland is a team that's actually been in West Tennessee early in the year, played UT Martin in one of those games that the NAIs play occasionally. Got blown out kind of the way they're supposed to, but Bethel's had some modest improvement here in the last few weeks. They played Faulkner this past week, lost 27-7. Frankly, I thought they were going to get blown out. I didn't see
that was a good performance by that defense.
It is a good performance by that defense. Faulkner, from what I heard, we had a guy there, and from what I heard from some of the other people, Faulkner was a little bit unorganized offensively. At least for a good majority of the game, Bethel was actually down only 6 points, late in the third quarter.
Wow.
When you add that result in with the 2 wins that they got not too long ago, they've definitely had a lot more positive things to legitimately talk about than they had back the first 5 weeks when it was just a disaster the way the previous year had been. With Bethel, it comes down to some of the same things it's come down to before. The ability to run the ball makes a huge difference. Obviously, if Jaquel Fitz, Devin Raymer can get some good touches, that'll make a big difference in keeping Bethel competitive in a game like this. I think it's a game if they can, based on what they've done the last few weeks, I expect them to be competitive at least for a while. I'd be surprised if Bethel won, to be honest with you, but I think that Bethel has shown a lot of improvements, and they've kind of impressed me, honestly. I didn't expect a whole lot out of them after the first 4 or 5 weeks, but they've done a little bit better than I expected, and I think they've shown a little bit more fight and a little bit more, frankly, just better execution than they did at this point last year. So I think there's definitely some things to build off, and like you mentioned, that defense has done a lot better, just really all 11 guys and the ones they brought in off the bench as well. They've had a couple of standout individual contributions, as you'd expect with a team that had several seniors at linebacker for sure. But Dustin Kincaid, Tyler Murray, those guys. But they've been good as a unit, or better anyway, much better than we saw early in the year when they were really having some trouble. So definitely some growth for Bethel. And it's not for this year, obviously, but for next year, I think definitely something to be encouraged about.
Going on the road now, the one that doesn't have as far of a road to travel, UTM just goes across the state line to Murray State, a pretty big rivalry game. Pretty much both teams are playing for pride at this point, though, right?
Yeah, it's not a matter of really OVC contention at this point. There's a couple teams that are just, frankly, at a little bit higher level this year. In Jacksonville State, we've talked about them, Eastern Illinois. Some of those teams are really, really strong. UT Martin and Murray State are kind of more in the middle. UT Martin is a team, obviously, that, boy, the beginning of conference season was rough. They took 3 losses, and one of them was a total rout. Just really things weren't going their way. The last few weeks, they've been, stringing together some wins. They beat Tennessee Tech, then they beat TSU, and then they beat Austin Peay by 30, kind of like they're supposed to. So a lot of good signs from UT Martin, at least in the last few weeks. I think they are playing for pride, and I think they're playing for just sort of what their program has kind of come to stand for.
Sure.
They have not been a team that has losing records in conference play. Well, if they want a winning record, they got to win this game. If they want a 500 record, they got to win one of the next 2 in conference, and Eastern Illinois is going to be really tough.
Yeah.
So definitely an opportunity for UTM. I think you have to be pleased with the fact that Dylan Favre got involved in the last game and was pretty good. We hadn't really seen too much of him. On the flip side, the reason we hadn't seen him was Jared Neal has been progressively better and better. If you look at the completion percentages for those guys, it's better, it's more efficient than it was last year. Dylan Favre won't be back next year. He's a senior, but Jared Neal will. So I think you're seeing some good signs from the quarterback play. You're seeing the receivers getting involved. And it's not just the same guys. We're seeing guys like Kalen Weathers, a freshman, who had a touchdown catch at Kentucky, and then we didn't really hear too much from him get involved in that some of these recent games. So some good signs for UTM offensively. They've had some pretty good running back contributions, not necessarily the Abu Toure every time the way we thought it might be. It's been a little bit more of a shared duty, and I think there are probably multiple reasons for that. But going into next year, that's probably something that would be seen as a positive overall. And then defensively, the mistakes just not happening near as much as they were happening early in the year. Now, granted, those were better teams than what UTM's been playing the last couple weeks, so that's fair to point out. But definitely some good signs for UTM up to this point in the last few weeks, and an opportunity to kind of keep that going on the road at Murray.
All right, Lane is actually going to Kentucky as well, as they're going to play another conference foe from the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. Did I get that right?
That's right.
SEAC is how we know it best around here. But they're playing Kentucky State.
Yeah, Lane is having a lot of trouble. I mean, there's no two ways about it. I mean, the last couple weeks have been just awful. They lost 33-0 to Albany State, 51-0 to Miles. A lot of people there. It was a disaster. Just wasn't the kind of showing you want at home, especially in front of the homecoming crowd. Just really didn't go well all day. Obviously, when you're not scoring, you got a major offensive issue, and that consistent quarterback play that Malik Hoskins really was hoping to see at the beginning of the year still hasn't really showed up, and it's kind of too late to make anything of it now. I think you're talking about, trying to build it in next year. I will say he did mention that he's been pleased with some of what Terrence here has done, at least the confidence and sort of leadership standpoint. But they've got issues on the offensive line. They got issues with wide receivers, getting those guys the ball. So in running really has probably been even the biggest issue offensively. They just haven't been able to do it effectively at all year, and it's holding them back, which is too bad because there's some talent there to work with if they can run the ball a little bit more efficiently. Defensively, they gave up 51 points this past week, and it was bad. But some of the reasons are for just general sloppiness. When you're not holding on to the ball, puts the defense in a bad spot. When you get a punt blocked for a touchdown, things just kind of escalate real quickly. No, the defense isn't playing very well. But I just thought Wayne was really sloppy. Just didn't look organized, and that's been a criticism of them in the past. But it's not really something that we've seen in the last couple of years. And so I thought that was kind of a disappointing outcome, frankly. Not just the 51-0, which is obviously embarrassing, but the fact that they just frankly didn't play well at all the whole day. So I think, long story short, an opportunity to please play a lot better against a Kentucky State team that just has 2 wins. Whether they're going to beat them, I don't know. It's hard for me to say that when they've been as bad as they've been the last couple of weeks. But there's no reason to get pushed around. Here these next couple of weeks, you got to be more competitive. Got to, kind of like with the other schools, play for some pride. And that's something that Hoskins talked about after the game. It has to matter that they're playing for Lane, Jackson's team, and all that stuff. And so that has to start to matter a little bit more for some of them, and we'll see how much progress they've made this week.
All right, well then backing up one night, the Liberty Bowl will be turning on the Friday night lights as Memphis will be hosting Tulsa a day early on Friday night.
Yeah, this is interesting being there down in Memphis on Monday. It almost, if you read the transcript of what the coach was talking about, it looks like a little bit of coach speak, frankly, because they're using words like marvelous and awesome and fantastic, and Tulsa's got 1 win, and you think, well, that doesn't make any sense. But if you look a little deeper, this Tulsa team has been able to pass, and they've basically had trouble stopping people sometimes. They had a big lead in one of their last couple of games. Like, they led by, I think, 20 points and let it get away. So you think, well, okay, they're not having a good season at all. Memphis ought to roll right over them. Well, yeah, I think that, honestly, that coach speaker, that mentality that Memphis was talking about is probably not a bad thing. And I wrote about this earlier in the week, given what happened to Memphis last year. Right about this time, they should have beaten Temple at home, and they should have beaten UConn on the road, and instead they lost to Temple and got blown out by UConn. So I can see why they would say that sort of stuff. It's just kind of like, Memphis is better, yes, but are they good enough to just walk in and beat a 1-win team? Maybe not. They sort of did with Southern Methodist down in Dallas. They dominated that from the get-go.
Yeah.
But one of the things that Justin Fuente talked about was kind of giving the players sort of their own motivation. It's not really about SMU. They have no crowd. There's no energy there. You kind of have to make your own energy. Well, I don't even think the Tigers will have to do that this week because they'll have it. They had 35,000, 40,000 people, you would figure, for a Friday night game. You should have some of your own energy there, a chance to sort of show out in front of a national TV audience, which Memphis has not had in a while, or at least not very often. So I think you have to be pleased overall with just sort of the general play. The defense was good the last couple of weeks. The offense was good. I know the defense is still kind of remembering that Houston game where they let the quarterback run around too much, and that was something they mentioned. It's kind of like, we know that can't happen again. And I think if you keep those things in your mind as a player, Memphis has a pretty good shot to come out of this, with another win. And they're knocking on the door of not just bowl eligibility, but really contending in this conference.
All right, well, you will be at Bethel's game, and we will also have Josh Lemons up at UTM's game in Murray on Saturday. So feel free to follow him at JS Ryder Craig. Follow Josh at JS Generals Josh for updates from both of those games. And we'll also try to keep updated while we're covering high schools here on Friday. We'll try to keep up to date on Memphis, also Lane as much as possible. What time is Lane's kickoff Saturday?
I believe that's an afternoon kickoff to double check.
Okay. All right, so a lot of afternoon games, a lot of stuff to check up on. Either way, we'll have the stories on JacksonSudden.com, hopefully by dark.
Yeah, absolutely. We should.
Saturday, it's before daylight savings time begins or ends or whatever. So there'll be a little more time with daylight. We can get that in before dark, and you can read about it, read about everything that happened earlier in the afternoon. But thanks for watching, and thanks for logging on. And follow us on Jackson Sun Sports on Facebook. Follow him on Twitter again, JS Ryder Craig, and for just staying in the loop on West Tennessee college sports. Good luck to your team this week. Thanks for watching.